Imagine a planet that, in an instant, falls into absolute silence. No engines humming, no factories breathing, no human footstep on the pavement. What would become of Earth if humanity simply ceased to exist? In this hypothesis, we explore the inevitable cascade that follows the abrupt disappearance of our species. From the first breathless weeks to the millennia that follow, we will trace the physical, ecological, and geological consequences of a world reclaimed by nature. Let us begin at the moment when the last human voice fades. As the automated safeguards disengage, each power plant powers down in sequence, casting entire districts into darkness. The towers that once glittered with artificial light stand still, their silhouettes etched against a sky that finally hears its own wind. Without maintenance, heating systems freeze, drainage clogs, and winter's chill forces water into the very veins of our concrete skeletons. The water, ever patient, begins its subtle erosion from within, seeping through cracks, coaxing roots to push upward, and turning streets into quiet rivers of green. The silence is not merely the absence of sound, it is the removal of the constant pulse that kept our cities alive. In those first weeks, the absence of human intervention allows nature to rewrite the rules. Plants that once struggled between pavement and pavement find footholds in the smallest fissures. Grasses sprout through cracks, and the first shoots of wildflowers begin to paint the sidewalks with muted colors. But what happens when the first year draws to a close and nature is given free rein? If this vision resonates with you, let me know in the comments. In the absence of human stewardship, the climate system begins to reveal its raw power. Wildfires, no longer restrained by fire breaks or aerial suppression, sweep across former agricultural plains with a ferocity that turns fertile soil into ash-laden deserts. The tinder-dry grasses, having reclaimed the edges of abandoned roads, feed towering infernos that rise higher than any skyscraper ever did. As the flames consume the remnants of cultivated fields, the soot they spew into the atmosphere temporarily darkens the sky, casting a brief, mournful twilight over the silent cities. When the season shifts, the same burned landscapes become sources of storm-driven dust. Winds lift fine particles from the charred earth, creating massive dust storms that drift across continents, coating the ruins of once bustling metropolises in a fine ochre veil. The rivers, now unregulated by dams or levees, swell with meltwater from the mountains and rain that no longer follows human-engineered channels. Without the structural integrity of concrete barriers, many of these waterways breach their banks, flooding valleys and carving new pathways through the terrain. The water that once powered turbines now erodes foundations, loosening steel and concrete as it seeps into the heart of the built environment. By the close of the first decade, the relentless intrusion of moisture has turned many rooftops into breeding grounds for fungi, moss, and saplings. The interiors of once proud homes become dark, humid chambers where mold spreads like a silent tide, and young trees sprout through broken windows, their roots finding purchase in the cracked floorboards. The cityscape, now a mosaic of crumbling masonry and burgeoning greenery, illustrates the inexorable hand of entropy. As the years turn into decades and then centuries, the structures that relied on modern alloys begin to betray their creators. The glass facades of towering office blocks, deprived of regular cleaning and seal maintenance, accumulate grime and microfractures. Rainwater, now unimpeded, infiltrates the joints, corroding the steel frameworks hidden within. Slowly, the metal skeletons weaken, and the once gleaming towers crumble, their shards falling like rain upon the streets below. The great suspension bridges that once spanned rivers and bays, their cables once protected by layers of paint, are left exposed to rust. Over time, the tension in the cables deteriorates, and the bridges snap, sending massive spans crashing into the waters they once connected. The asphalt arteries that carried millions of vehicles each day erode under the weight of wind, rain, and the slow encroachment of vegetation. Within a few centuries, the road network is indistinguishable from the surrounding forest, the black ribbons now replaced by moss-covered earth, and the occasional route that pushes through what remains of the pavement. When humanity's stone monuments stand as the last testament to its ambition, the planet has already reshaped itself around them. The ancient pyramids and stone citadels, built millennia ago with techniques designed to endure, persist longer than any modern construction. Yet even these venerable structures are not immune to the slow, patient forces of nature. Sand drifts over their faces, vines creep up their walls, and the relentless cycle of freeze and thaw chips away at their edges. Over 1,000 years, the skylines of former megacities have been reduced to rolling green hills, their peaks crowned by the resilient silhouettes of stone towers, now cloaked in vegetation. Forests, once fragmented by roads and suburbs, reclaim the majority of the planet's surface. The dense canopies of tropical rainforests and temperate woodlands expand, filling valleys and covering plains. Atmospheric carbon dioxide, no longer pumped into the sky by factories and vehicles, gradually returns to pre-industrial levels. The sky clears, the temperature stabilizes, and the climate settles into a new equilibrium that favors the resurgence of life. In this revived world, animal populations flourish beyond anything recorded in recent history. Species that had teetered on the brink of extinction, such as the Amur leopard, the mountain gorilla, and the black rhino, find vast, uninterrupted habitats. Their numbers swell, and they roam freely across territories that were once divided by fences and highways. Herds of megafauna, once confined to protected reserves, now graze across former city parks, their hooves echoing where human footsteps once did. The oceans, free from the constant onslaught of plastic waste and noise pollution, heal. Coral reefs, given time to recover, regrow their vibrant structures, and whale songs once again travel unhindered across the seas, marking the return of a deep, resonant chorus that has been silent for generations. Beyond 100,000 years, the evidence of humanity's brief dominion fades into the geological record. Plastics, though designed for durability, break down under ultraviolet radiation, chemical weathering, and the relentless pressure of sediment burial. Their fragments become part of the mineral layers that accumulate over millennia. Tectonic forces, shifting plates and uplifting mountain ranges, recycle the continents, drawing even the deepest ruins back toward the mantle. If an extraterrestrial observer were to gaze upon Earth from afar, the planet would appear as a vibrant blue and green orb, its surface alive with ecosystems, devoid of the artificial glows that once punctuated the night. This vision reminds us that the Earth is not a stage set for a single species, but a dynamic system that persists long after any one civilization has risen and fallen. Humanity's imprint, though profound, is but a fleeting chapter in the planet's endless story. As we contemplate this imagined future, we are called to reflect on the responsibility we hold in the present moment. What legacy will we choose to leave? Will we become the architects of lasting harmony, or will we be remembered as a brief, bright flare that burned out too quickly? If these possibilities stir your thoughts, share them below. Your perspective adds depth to this collective exploration. And if you appreciate journeys into the unknown, consider supporting this channel by liking the video and subscribing, so we can continue to uncover the hidden narratives of our world. The silence of a vanished humanity may be profound, but the echo of our curiosity endures.